Ryla. I think she needs you to tell her.
Ryla, come here. Hey,
Ryla.
I think she wants us to go sunbathe.
She wasn't sitting in the sun. She's
really? Come here.
Come here, babies.
Come here. Hey, up. No? No? Okay. Alright. What's going on, you guys? A long time no see. Driven by Rick here, coming back at you with another video. Haven't filmed for a while, so we're gonna hop right into it. So we're here at my buddy Dylan's garage. A lot to update on the M3 actually. It's caged by Studio RSR. If you haven't seen that video, it'll be on the top of your page. It was definitely a fun travel vlog down to Orange County to get the cage installed. But today we're gonna be doing something to the M3 that has been bothering me for a long time. We are gonna be dialing in the BC coilovers on the M3 to make them more feel like they're ready for the track and not so just like throwing in the car. Because when I put these in, I had no idea what I was doing. I kind of just threw them in the car, took it to the racetrack.
Did you make any adjustments on these?
No,
They've been on this car for a minute.
Yeah, there's no adjustments to these, but today Dylan knows what he's doing. He's actually a technician. I'm not. I'm just a stupid kid with a camera. And we're gonna make some adjustments and make the M3 feel solid. All right, before we get started though, we have to raise the M3. Dylan's got these handy dandy quick jacks. We're gonna raise the M3, take the wheels off, and I think Dylan's gonna explain exactly what we're doing to the suspension today. So first of all, let's get this thing in the air. Bam, that's what I'm talking about. The 3-finger gap, 4-finger gap even. That's the fit we're gonna go for today's video.
I'm not doing that to your car. No, I'm all for functionality. We're not.
No, we're totally kidding. We're totally kidding.
12 too tall.
Bam!
They're so light.
Aren't they?
I like it.
They're great, and those tires are fantastic.
Yeah, you like the Falcons?
I love the Falcon tires.
Way better than Federal.
Alright, so what are we doing today?
Okay, so you've been complaining about your car being a little bit too low for the track. Now hearing that you just threw these in and didn't adjust anything on them, what I'm thinking we're gonna do, just to raise it a little bit, does it look like you have a decent amount of preload? You can't really tell because it's dark, but you have a decent amount of preload on the rear end, so it should feel pretty tight. I'll probably add about a 1/4 inch, maybe a little bit more. I might add a little bit more than a 1/4 inch to the rear end, and then maybe raise it just the slightest bit on the strut itself, just so you have a little bit more clearance, because the rear end's gonna sag a little bit more than the front is.
Okay,
And
what does that mean? Sag.
So when you're staring at the car and it kind of has like a off-kilter look to it, like it's not level, it's because the weight distribution of the springs, the spring rates essentially, aren't absorbing the weight properly. So with BR series VCs, a lot of their spring rates are a little bit softer for most people, just because they're more of like a street-based coilover. It's more so just to get your car like low level but still feel good. And as you get higher up into their actual options, you'll get a better coilover, which is why they cost more. So with these guys, they're a little bit soft, in my opinion, and a lot of other people's opinions that I drive with, like Hayden and Ashton and, you know, so on and so forth. People that you guys have no idea who they are. The spring rates are a little bit too soft, and so they really rebound a lot. Your car doesn't feel as good as it could, essentially, basically, is how you do it. And you have to adjust them to feel the way you want it to. So these are more of a comfort coilover than a race coilover, which is why I highly suggest getting some KWs. But whatever floats your boat. If you don't have money for KWs, which I know they're extremely expensive, BC is a great option to go with. You just have to know how to adjust them. And of course, like I was saying earlier, I recommend getting something a little bit higher than their BR or BS, whatever their lowest series is called now. Just because if you're looking for something more performance-based, you're gonna want something that performs better, which is the higher end stuff. Regardless, Ricky has the BR series today, so we're gonna go through, fine tune them. He has a clunk in the rear end, which I believe is just the top hat being loose on the strut. And yeah, we're going to get this thing feeling a lot different. Okay, so I'm going to show you guys how to adjust your preload properly. So out of the box from BC, they actually preset your preload for pretty much every set of coilovers. Not all of them, but most of them. and they set them to 4 millimeters, which is the thickness of your spanner wrench. So what they recommend doing when you're doing your adjustment to your preload is actually adjust it 2 to 4 mils at a time. So either half the thickness of this or the full thickness of this. I like that your phone rings literally every time.
It's okay.
So right now, what we got going on, go ahead and show them. What we got going on, we are 4 mil deep on the adjustment to the rear preload. And what that's going to end up doing is actually raising the car up just about 1/4 of an inch, not too dramatic, but it's also going to stiffen the rear end up. So in order to adjust the actual tightness of the rear end and not make it feel so harsh, we're actually going to adjust the dampening up so it's a little bit of a faster rate, because your dampening adjustment, when it says tight or hard, or sorry, hard or soft, is actually adjusting the amount that the valve, how fast the valves open up inside the shock body. So when you have a tighter preload, you want it to open up a little bit faster so your springs can actually move like it's a more fluid movement in the suspension setup. Because if you have your struts really soft but your preload's really tight, it's gonna feel really all over the place. Like you're gonna hit a bump and it's gonna be like, and you can bottom out your shock internally that way, and it's not necessarily bad, but for what we're going for is more performance based, so we want it to actually feel really good. And you know, the more fluid you are on the track, the faster you're gonna be. So that's what we're aiming for here, and that's how we're going to adjust this setup. Obviously, do whatever you need to do for your setup, but for this one in particular, we're gonna add 4 mil preload, adjust the dampening, tighten it up a little bit, and then test it out, see how Ricky likes it. Okay, so one of the major issues that Ricky was having with this car is that the rear end was strut knocking. So if you have coilovers and you hear a clunk noise when you are hitting bumps, most likely the top hat on your coilover is loose. That being said, not really dangerous, more so annoying. If you're driving with like some oomph, doing some spirited driving, riding on the racetrack, fix that ASAP. That's when it starts getting dangerous, because if you blow apart the top hat off your coilover on the racetrack, you're gonna have a bad time. It's not good for your health. Don't do that. Make sure you tighten your things. So that's pretty much what we're doing right now. BC supplies you with the Allen key that goes in the top hat. This is kind of a special tool. You can buy these at AutoZone. It's a ratchet with a open end on the top, and then you just kind of whoop, but you hold the Allen wrench while you do that. That's what I'm gonna do right now. We heard some clunking coming out of both sides of the car when we were test driving it earlier, so we're gonna go ahead and do that, and then yeah, later when we go for a test drive, we'll probably won't hear any clunking anymore. So we won't have anything to show you, but that's how you adjust your strut knock. So you know, keep that in mind. For all you stancy boys that are like real low to the ground, probably gonna hear a lot of strut knock, because the looser your coilovers are, the lower to the ground you are. So just be mindful of it and make sure that you aren't breaking your things, because they cost money and that's not fun. So
all right, wheels are going on. Dylan, not me, but Dylan made all the adjustments. Suspension should feel essentially a lot better, so we're gonna throw all the wheels on and go for a test drive. I guess we'll see you guys on test drive.
He's cool.
Oh, so much better. Oh. Oh my
Just
God.
go up to the Price Canyon left coming down the hill. Yeah, now let's come back home.
Oh, it's so much better. Oh yeah. Up through here?
No, all the way through, up the hill.
It's so much better. So much better. Has a couple little ones.
I need it.
Oh my God, I'm stoked. So E92's back. pretty much we raised the back, I'd say like 1/8 inch, dialed in the suspension there. The front I raised about a 1/2 inch. There's definitely a little more gap now in the front, which is good because I'm going for drivability, not really stance boys. Took out the center caps because I don't like the BMW center caps, and my Apex ones are literally melted, so can't use those. But all in all, I'm super happy with what we did today. Dialing in the suspension was definitely a must. I do appreciate my buddy Dylan doing it for me because I'm not really technically inclined like he is. It's very bright, but yeah, car is looking sweet. Cage looking sweet. Seats are on order, so I have seats coming this week, so that'll be another video of bucket seats in the M3. And then I need front canards. Yeah, she's dialed, man. I'm stoked. I'll probably let Dylan say a couple things or whatnot, but we'll check back with you guys in a second. I'm just super stoked on how the car is performing now.
For this purpose, we just wanted the car to track straighter through corners and not pull out, but more so go where you point. And from what he was saying, it feels a lot better. Personally, I didn't ride in the car on that road prior to doing this, so I can't say like how much of an adjustment it made, but I can say as soon as Ricky hit the first couple of corners, literally every time. Literally every time.
Every time, but it's okay. Okay.
The first couple of corners he hit, he had amazing reaction. He was just like, this is completely different.
Way different.
So, you know, yeah, learn about coilovers, adjust your stuff, and go out and make your $1,000 coilovers feel like $5,000 coilovers.
And we're getting bucket seats in here this week, so that'll be so nice.
Top seat.
Yeah, top seat. You'll see that later, but all right, we'll check out with you guys in a second. That was dope. That was pretty good.